Welcome to Augmented You. My name is Jan, I'm your host, and on this channel we equip you with all the information needed to thrive in the age of artificial intelligence. So if you're new to the channel, welcome, thanks for stopping by. We post videos every week, videos covering all the key topics, all the key happenings from the AI world, because at Augmented You, we believe that you should be mastering AI and not the other way around. So make sure to click the subscribe button, click the bell notification icon so that you get notified every time we post a new video. And if you are already a member of this community and have been following us for a while, thank you, we appreciate you. The topic of this video, AI weekly breakthroughs. The news, what has happened, the impact, why it matters, the action. How can you benefit from it? Let's jump right into it. Starting today with OpenAI. Recently they hosted their OpenAI Dev Day and they had a few more releases. Most of them are really them just catching up with Anthropic, but many are saying that they are doing it better. The first one I want to talk about is Canvas. And before I go into it, Anthropic has artifacts. Now to refresh the memory, artifact is essentially a side window where you can collaborate with Claude on a given project. Let's say you are writing a blog post. Canvas is very similar, and as OpenAI put it, a new way of working with ChatGPT to write and code. This is how it looks like. So on the left, you're talking, having a conversation with, in this case, ChatGPT 4.0. And then on the right is the side window, side pane, where you're working on your project, let's say a blog post. Now, why is this better than a regular chat interface? Let's say you're writing a blog post and you want ChatGPT to change the second paragraph of it. It will rewrite the whole thing. That is no longer the case in Canvas. So this is better for projects that require editing and revisions. Now, Canvas comes with 5 predefined actions. Those are suggesting edits, adjusting the length of your text, changing reading level, adding final polish, and adding emojis. So this is how this looks like. On the left, you're having a conversation, and then on the right, this is where your project is. Drafting a short blog post, the value of design, and then bottom right is where you can activate those predefined actions, suggesting edits, changing reading level, adding emojis. Now, writing is not the only thing you can do in Canvas. You can also code. Very similar, just that you're not working on text, you're working on code. Here, the predefined actions are a little bit different. Reviewing code, adding logs, adding comments, fixing bugs, and importing to a new language. So translating your code into JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, Java, and so on. Now, in case of Canvas, GPT 4.0 was further adapted so that it is a better collaborator, so that it is a more creative partner, so that it can better operate in this kind of a environment. And as many said, it is better than Anthropic's artifacts, but I'll let you be the judge. Continuing with OpenAI's Dev Day announcements, 4 key ones. The first one is introducing the real-time API. Developers can now build fast speech-to-speech experiences into their applications. So you can now build, develop speech-to-speech experiences, multimodal experiences in your application, let's say in your conversational AI solution, into your chatbot. Now, how is this different from what we were able to do before? Previously, to create a similar voice assistant experience, developers had to transcribe audio with an automatic speech recognition model like Whisper. Pass the text to a text model for inference reasoning, and then play the model's output using a text-to-speech model. This approach often resulted in loss of emotion, emphasis, and accent, plus noticeable latency. With the Chat Completions API, developers can handle the entire process with a single API call, though it remains slower than human conversation. The real-time API improves this by streaming audio inputs and outputs directly, so it's direct speech-to-speech. Enabling more natural conversational experiences, it can also handle interruptions automatically, much like advanced voice mode in ChatGPT. So this is now getting closer to how we humans interact. Direct speech-to-speech, emotions, capturing emotions through voice. So this is exciting. I'm excited to see what we can now do with our applications, getting AI conversations more human-like. Second announcement they made at OpenAI Dev Day, introducing Vision to the fine-tuning API. Developers can now fine-tune GPT-4o with images and text to improve vision capabilities. Now, through fine-tuning, we can further adapt a given model to a specific task, to a specific environment. Now, this is done through the process called fine-tuning, and this is now available through their API for vision models. And what's exciting here is, as they claim, only 100 examples is already enough to improve models' performance. So usually for training large language models, for training machine learning models, you need a lot of examples. You need large training data sets. Similarly was true for fine-tuning, but now only about 100 examples is already enough. So in this case, the examples would be images correctly tagged or objects in image correctly recognized. Here's one example of that. A sign that looks kind of off. It is a weird image or a weird alt sign, but a fine-tuned model is able to correctly recognize that it is a speed limit sign. So this is exciting. This is something that developers will be very happy about. We can now further adapt vision models, not just text-based models. Third key announcement, prompt caching in the API. And this is truly OpenAI just catching up with Anthropic. Anthropic introduced this a few weeks or even months ago. Now, what is it? Developers frequently use the same context across multiple API calls. Let's say you're using few-shot prompting, and you give the model a few examples of how it should behave before you give it its current task. Now, this first part of the prompt, these first examples, repeats across hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of calls. And obviously, each call consumes input tokens, and costs can get pretty high. Prompt caching addresses this issue. So you can now cache this first part of the context, first part of the prompt, and you reduce costs and latency. So as OpenAI put it, today we're introducing prompt caching, allowing developers to reduce costs and latency. By reusing recently seen input tokens, developers can get a 50% discount and faster prompt processing times. So this is great. I think this is something that developers will be very happy about. But when it comes to feature parity, this is just OpenAI catching up with Anthropic. So I think all companies that are developing, releasing their own large language models, this will be a must-have feature. Last one, fourth one, model distillation in the API. Now, what is model distillation? Through the process of model distillation, we use a larger, more capable model as a teacher for a smaller, more cost-efficient student model. So we use the outputs of this larger model to further train the smaller model. And what research finds is that through this process, we can actually get the performance, let's say answer accuracy of the smaller model very close to the teacher model. And this is exciting because we're still preserving the cost efficiency of the smaller model. So as OpenAI define it, fine-tune a cost-efficient model with the outputs of large frontier model, all on the OpenAI platform. We're introducing a new model distillation offering to provide developers with an integrated workflow to manage the entire distillation pipeline directly within the OpenAI platform. This lets developers easily use the outputs of frontier models like O1 Preview and GPT-4o to fine-tune and improve the performance of more cost-efficient models like GPT-4o Mini. So this is another exciting release by OpenAI. And all in all, a very good OpenAI Dev Day for OpenAI. I think all these announcements are going to be, developers are going to be happy with all these 4 announcements. It gives them more power, more tools, more control over how they develop their applications. And it is also easier to do as it is all coming to their API. So you can now do many, many more things through the API, where before you would perhaps have to choose different frameworks or kind of develop your own frameworks to get to the same outcome. So I think this is all exciting. A successful day, I would say, for OpenAI. This is still not it from OpenAI. Last one for this week, new funding round. New funding to scale the benefits of artificial intelligence. And it was a huge round. We've raised $6.6 billion in new funding and $157 billion post-money valuation. This is one of the largest rounds in the history to accelerate progress on our mission, which is artificial general intelligence. Let's see how OpenAI use this. Next one, today, Microsoft and a few key releases or key new features announced by them. Starting with new experiences coming to Copilot Plus PCs and Windows 11. What I want to start with here is recall. So this is something that they talked about a few months ago. So what is recall? Recall is essentially a feature that takes snapshots of your activity on the operating system, and it makes it searchable. So you can now go back and look through your history of activities to find that moment where you're perhaps looking at a video that you forgot the title of. So here's a very short demonstration how this works. Improved Windows search, confidently find it faster. I'm trying to find a picture my friend took, and flower was on that picture. And as you can see, recall now allows you to go through your activities and see where exactly you saw it. Perhaps it was a PowerPoint, was it photos, was it a video? You can now do that through recall. Second one I want to talk about is productivity tools coming to Windows. So let's say here we have a photo open. What you can now do is visual search with Bing. You can blur background with photos. You can erase objects with photos. So now those generative AI capabilities coming to photos. I'll talk more about those a little bit later. Improved Windows search. So now you can search using the titles of files, using file names. Here, Windows also understands the context of an image or what is actually on the image, and it makes that searchable or uses that to help you find a relevant item. So let's say here you're searching for a barbecue party and you get 7 images which are related to barbecues, even though none of the images are named or have barbecue in their name. They're just named IMG and a number. So this is something that will improve search. This is exciting. And then last one here is generative AI capabilities coming to photos. So pretty much now every video or image editing software now has this, but let's say you can remove objects with AI capabilities. So photos is still around and Paint is also still around. Microsoft also announces a few new features coming to their Copilot offering. First one is Copilot Labs. Now, what is Copilot Labs? Copilot Labs is an environment where all their latest generative AI tools will be coming to. Now, the first feature available in Copilot Labs is Think Deeper, which gives Copilot the ability to reason through more complex problems. Using the very latest reasoning models, it can help with anything from solving tough math problems to weighing up the costs of managing home projects. Now, this is where many believe Microsoft is using OpenAI's latest model releases, their O1 model, or the outcome of their Strawberry project, which is a model that can break a complex problem down into sub-steps, solve those sub-steps, and then piece together the final solution. And it can reason through problems and think much more like we humans think. Now, the next one is Copilot Vision, and as Microsoft defined, a real limitation of the Copilot experience has been that it hasn't understood what you're doing or what you're looking at. Language is, of course, a powerful means of communication, but there's so much context to any task or interaction that lies far beyond what you say. One way of addressing this is by giving you the option to let Copilot see what you see. That's what we are trialing on a limited basis in Copilot Labs with Copilot Vision. So let's look at a short demo of this. So let's say you are booking a place to stay and you're going through your different options. And now Copilot can see what you see. And you can use that information, or it can use that information to better help you. So as you can say, this room is way too colorful. It is giving me a headache. And then based on this, Copilot will find something more suitable, a room that is less colorful, that is more simple. So this just makes the Copilot much more capable. It can help you do things that it wasn't able to do before. So it can see what you're doing on your screen, and it takes that as input information to better help you, to guide you through the process and guide you to the final solution. So I think this is something that can be very, very powerful. Last news item for today, it's Pika 1.5. Now, Pika AI, a company that is developing AI video generation models. So this is their latest version of the AI video generator designed to enhance the process of video creation with a variety of advanced features and tools. So let's look at some of those tools. Key features of Pika, it's Pika effects. Inflate it, explode it, crush it, melt it, squish it, cakeify it. Now, obviously, as with any image editing AI or image generation AI models, video generation AI models, we want to see demonstrations, we want to see outcomes. So I've prepared 4 because they're pretty exciting and you might have seen it already online you can just upload a photo of yourself or whoever, and you can apply one of those effects that we went through. So this is, let's say, the effect melted. Looks pretty good. Next one, slicing it in half. This one's a little bit off. So the first knife, it seems like I'm holding the first knife, and then the second knife comes and just slices me in half. So this is cakeify it. Third one, inflated, turns me into a balloon. And what's also impressive, not just how well it can change the object on the screen, but how well it fills in the background. So the background is not something that it sees as I'm in the way, but it still does a very good job of filling in those details, and it looks very realistic. And then the last one here is exploded. This one's pretty exciting as well. So this is a fun tool or very powerful effects released by Pika, and this is what is great about it. You can try it out now. Put yourself or upload your own photo and see how well Pika does. Let's discuss the impact of some of the features we covered today. Starting with OpenAI Dev Day, 4 new ones. I think developers will love all 4. So we have model distillation and vision fine-tuning. This is something that will help developers further fine-tune, adapt OpenAI's models to specific tasks. And this is something very relevant for developers, which are usually trying to build an application that solves a specific problem. And their fine-tuning is very relevant. And then we have prompt caching. Again, something developers will love. It will help reduce costs, which is pretty much always a concern or always something that you want to reduce. And then speech-to-speech capabilities that now you can integrate in your application through the API. So let's say you're developing a conversational AI assistant. Speech-to-speech will be very handy there and very useful. So you can get that interaction more human-like. And then Canvas, I think this is something that all of us should be very excited about because the chat interface does come with its limitations. We mentioned a few earlier, right? So ChatGPT, it always rewrites everything. Now with Canvas, that is no longer the case. And I think this will actually be the preferred way for most people to interact with OpenAI's models because you are usually working on a task, a blog post, article, summary, or code perhaps. And I think this is the preferred way of collaborating with a partner to get to that final product. So all those announcements are very exciting, but we're not looking at huge leap forwards in AI capabilities. It's more quality of life improvements and making those models, let's say, better at helping you achieve a given outcome. Microsoft new releases and the impact of those new experiences coming to Copilot plus PCs in Windows 11. I think it's a more or less a similar story as with OpenAI. So not huge improvements expanding capabilities of AI, but more quality of life improvements and making generative AI features more accessible to everyday users. So recall, helping you search through your activities on the operating system, improved Windows search, and then generative AI capabilities coming to photos. Now, when it comes to Copilot and Copilot announcements, this is where I'm more excited because Copilot Vision is something new. Copilot Vision is expanding the capabilities of artificial intelligence and the capabilities of their Copilot. Because if their Copilot can now process the information that you are seeing on your screen, this makes it much more productive. This can make it much more helpful. Now, obviously, I am interested in seeing how well does it actually work, but now just imagine the capabilities. Just imagine the possibilities. If the Copilot can follow all your actions on the screen, see all of that information, what are the tasks that it can now help you with? So this will make the Copilot much more productive and much more helpful. And last one, Pika and their Pika 1.5 model, their new capabilities or new effects coming to Pika and their AI video generation model. This is something that is very powerful. And what is the impact of it? Someone with zero editing skills can now do something like that. I have zero video editing skills, but now I can take my photo and inflate myself. Now imagine someone giving me this task 2 months ago or 6 months ago or a few years back. It would take me months and months to achieve the same outcome. It would probably be a worse outcome. So now someone who has no previous experience in video editing can do something like that. So this is making video editing much more accessible to everyday users. The action. How can you benefit from announcements that we covered today? Get good at using those new features. In my opinion, it is all about productivity. New features coming to Copilot, Pika AI, their new video editing software, OpenAI Canvas. Those are all tools that are making generative AI models more accessible and better at helping you solve a given task, but only if you are proficient at using this technology, only if you're proficient at interacting with generative AI, interacting with large language models. So let's see, Googling, it is a skill. Someone is much better at finding relevant information through Google. Same with generative AI. Some people are going to be much better at using new features coming to the Copilot Vision, for instance. Some people are going to be much better at using Canvas to help them solve a task that they want to solve. And imagine how much more productive those people are going to be. So make sure you're in that group. How you do that? Get better at using this technology. There's a lot of guides available online, prompting guides. How can you interact with generative AI more efficiently? This is something that should be your priority for the next few weeks and months. Follow things that are coming out, follow new features that are coming out, and then get good at using those features. And think about how you can apply this to your everyday life, how you can use those features to improve your own productivity, to improve how well you're currently performing your job or performing the tasks that you have to perform every day. This is it for this week's episode of AI Weekly Breakthroughs. We had a lot of new announcements from OpenAI, new features coming to Microsoft devices and new features coming to their Copilot offering, and then Pika 1.5, new AI video generation, video editing model from Pika Labs. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy such content, click subscribe, click the bell notification icon so that you get notified every time we post a new video. Thank you, and until next time.